Alright, what is up, you guys? I'm here with my top 10 best WrestleMania list. So this is just my opinion, and it is unbiased, so keeping all my personal feelings out of this. So no matter how I feel about these events, I still consider them to be the top 10 best. So I am going in order. Number 10, WrestleMania 23. You have the hair versus hair match. I usually don't like celebrity involvement in wrestling, but I thought this segment was entertaining, to say the least. And then you had John Cena and Shawn Michaels, great main event, one of John Cena's best matches. Undertaker and Batista completely tore the house down, fantastic. And great Money in the Bank ladder match. You have a good Chris Benoit MVP match. So overall, this is a very enjoyable event in Detroit. So, yeah, number 9, I would put WrestleMania 24. This one was held at the Citrus Bowl in Florida. And this one's really known for Ric Flair's retirement. And he had a really good match with Shawn Michaels. You had a great main event with Edge and Undertaker. Kind of a very underrated match, honestly. Decent triple threat match for the WWE title. And this probably has the best layout for any WrestleMania. In my opinion, it's the best stage they ever did. Just overall, this feels like WrestleMania. It feels like that big event. And overall, it did a very good job in the ring and out of the ring. Next up, I would put WrestleMania 21. This one really, it's smack dab in the middle of the Ruthless Aggression era. You have Batista and John Cena's careers just jump-starting here and going to that new level. So it's historic for that reason. But you have one of my favorite matches of all time, Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle. An amazing match. In my opinion, it's a 5-star match. And then you have a great segment with Piper's Pit. Love it. The first ever Money in the Bank ladder match. Overall, this was a very fun WrestleMania and had a lot of good in-ring talent. At this time, it was just an amazing roster. And overall, just, good in-ring content for this one. Next up, we have WrestleMania 20, where it all begins again. Madison Square Garden, of course. And this one's jam-packed, full of matches and moments. You have John Cena winning his first title against Big Show. You have Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle, very underrated match. Another one of my personal favorite matches, Chris Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. That's one of my favorite main events ever. You have The Undertaker's Return as Dead Man gimmick. And overall, this is just, it may be in a small arena, but it does have that big feel to it. And we'll just forget about the Brock Lesnar-Goldberg match. Next up, we have WrestleMania 31. This one, actually, whether you care or not, it has the highest Dave Meltzer rating for any WrestleMania. Not saying that makes it the greatest, but it does have very consistent... there's never like a bad moment. It's very consistent with its content. You have great wrestling. There's not a single bad match on here. And, say what you want about Sting and Triple H. I had my gripes about that. But, honestly, you can just get over it by now. So, overall, I just thought this was a fantastic event. An amazing main event. And a great surprise. People were speculating Money in the Bank cash-in. And it turned out to be true. So, and it was actually surprising when it did happen. So, that was great. So, overall, I love this WrestleMania, and I consider it one of the best. Next up, WrestleMania 10, Madison Square Garden again. You have probably the greatest WrestleMania opener of all time, Bret and Owen, and then Bret's doing double duty. You have him in the main event as well. You have what a lot of people say is the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, first ever pay-per-view ladder match. I think we had one at SummerSlam, actually. Yeah, SummerSlam. So this was the second pay-per-view ladder match. So overall, this one was really kind of a segue into the new generation era. Say what you want about that era, but, the Hulkamania Golden Era was over with. And this was a good way to segue into that. Next up, this one might be controversial, but I have my reasoning. WrestleMania 3. I can't think of a match or an event that drew so much attention since then. You had, whether you want to say it was 93,000 people or, it's speculated that it was actually only 78,000. All in all, it was still a big draw for the time. And this was such a historic event. And wrestling might not be the same, if this event didn't happen, it might not be the same. It's just like WrestleMania 1 that shaped what wrestling is to this day. And sports entertainment, really. But, you have Jake the Snake Roberts, Honky Tonk Man. You have your Junkyard Dog and Harley Race. Not the best match qualities. That's why I'm saying it's controversial. But for historical significance, I think this one deserves to be on this list. And of course, you have your Intercontinental title match, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Macho Man. And then your main event, which is probably the biggest drawing main event since then, between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. So, definitely give this event a second try. If you don't like it, that's fine. Just give it a second try. Because I think there is a lot to love about that event. Next up, we have WrestleMania 30 at the Superdome in New Orleans. This one kind of came out of nowhere. Because I was looking forward to the event, but I'm like, it'll probably be average, But you had Daniel Bryan and Triple H in a great opener. And, Daniel Bryan, of course, went on to the main event in a great triple threat match. And the overall story of this event was fantastic, with Daniel Bryan getting his moment at the end. You have a great Andre the Giant Battle Royal, one of my favorite Battle Royals at WrestleMania. And then, you have the Shield. They have a nice little exciting match. And then, of course, this is really known for the streak ending. Say what you want. You either love it or you hate it. I don't like certain instances about it. We'll just put it that way. But, it is still a historical moment and just a fantastic event. Number 2, and by far my favorite WrestleMania, WrestleMania 19 in Seattle at the Safeco Field. This one really has a bit of everything for everyone. If you like cruiserweight action, it's there. Good tag team action, it's there. You have some hardcore moments with Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon, and then you have mat wrestling with your main event between Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle. So, this has a bit of everything, and Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho, another one of my favorite matches. This is my favorite event, personally, and I just think, there's really only one flaw, and that's your handicap match with Undertaker, but even that's somewhat enjoyable. So, I put this one at number 2. Number 1, there's really no questioning this, WrestleMania 17. This, from top to bottom, is pure entertainment and some of the best work you'll ever see in a wrestling ring. You have TLC, fantastic match, probably the best TLC match, and this was the second one. And then you had, let's see what else we got on here. You have Shane McMahon versus his father Vince, of course. That to me was kind of, it was iffy. Then you have Triple H and Undertaker, fantastic match. You have, I think it's a very fun hardcore triple threat match. You have the gimmick battle royal. And then, of course, your main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. And possibly the greatest main event in WrestleMania history. And very historic main event. So, if you can get your hands on this DVD, obviously check it out. So, let me know what your list is down below, what your top 10 would be. If you want, I can also do a top 10 worst. Let me know. This has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.